Despite no traditional Oktoberfest celebrations this past weekend, parties did take place all over La Crosse. College students packed houses and bars in large groups, and video shows many of them were not social distancing or wearing masks. But parties weren't just happening this weekend either. And as News 8 Now's Tyler Jobe explains tonight, students who get caught could face consequences.
Mike, on Labor Day, UW-La-Crosse sent all students an email with an ultimatum. Don't host parties. In the email, it says students who host a party on or off campus will lead to disciplinary action and even suspension without a tuition refund. The email was sent out to students before the shelter-in-place order took place, but it appears the order didn't stop some students from doing it anyway. After an outbreak of coronavirus cases ordered UWL students to shelter in place, students were able to start returning to campus after an 18-day shutdown.
I'm excited for it to be hopefully going back to somewhat normal.
Sophomore Lily Ploggy couldn't do much during her quarantine in Eagle Hall.
My roommates and I, we survived off of Criminal Minds and microwave popcorn. It wasn't very exciting.
More importantly, she hunkered down and didn't go to any parties or large gatherings.
Just everyone doing their part would be really helpful, but obviously everyone makes their own decisions.
But others are not as careful and instead are hosting parties with no masks or social distancing.
They seem to believe, well, this virus isn't going to impact me very dramatically, and so I don't really care if I get it or not.
And those decisions have already gotten a few kids in trouble.
There are some students who are in the disciplinary process.
Chancellor Joe Gao says one student was busted over Oktoberfest weekend in their dorm for hosting a gathering.
There was somebody who was caught with alcohol and marijuana in their room, and they, obviously are being asked to leave.
Gao says it's harder for students off campus to get in trouble because the university doesn't have a police presence beyond campus boundaries.
Sometimes we don't hear about parties till a few days later, and so then it's very hard to really do anything impactful at that point.
All the university can do is educate their students to be safe.
But ultimately, it's very hard to force people to do things.
Those who don't listen frustrate Lily a little bit too.
It kind of sounds like a broken record after a while.
But she isn't all that surprised with what's happened in just a month's time.
It's kind of bound to happen, and they knew what the consequences could be, so yeah.
Now, Gao tells me he thinks another spike in cases is coming because of the number of parties held off campus. Last week, UWL tested all 1,500 students in the dorms, and about 5 students tested positive each day. This week, all students coming back to the res halls will get tested as well. About 300 kids are returning to campus each day until classes resume face-to-face next Monday. Mike?
Okay, thanks a lot, Tyler. And Chancellor Gao says it's possible there could be another shelter in place if an outbreak gets serious enough, but right now they're taking it week by week.